What's going on, Show Nation? It's Movie with Movie Gaming TV, and in today's video, I thought we would redo the positional tier video from the other day. Just wanted to redo it because I felt like, the audio, it wasn't that good. I had like a stream playing in the background, all kinds of stuff. So in today's video, I'm going to try to get it a little bit more concise too. We're going to try to do it here in about 20 minutes or so. If you want to see the video faster, as always, just watch the video back in 2x speed. You might be able to get through it a little bit faster and still get the same information out of it. Sometimes I like to watch videos that way myself, so be sure to do that. Drop a thumbs up on the video as well. I'd appreciate that. Helps the video get around, so if you want to help the video get around to more people, help me out, make me feel good, go ahead and slap the thumbs up on this video. So let's go ahead and get started with this here. We'll start in the outfield. This to me is the best outfield in the game. Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Mike Trout. Why is it so good? So much speed in the outfield and fielding. Tons of fielding right here for Willie Mays. Diamond fielding with 94 speed. Trout, same deal, 92 fielding, 93 speed. Really could probably go something like this, move Mays over to right, Trout over here, because Mays does have a bit of a better arm. Still the prestige Mickey Mantle in center field, 95 speed, tons of fielding, and 97 arm in the outfield, all diamond. Just basically, if you play at a bigger park, they're going to cover everything. It's going to be really, really difficult to get a hit. If you saw my World Series gameplay, which I'll link at the end of this video, it's tough in a big park to get a hit with all the speed out there. And then also on top of that, they all are A+ hitters. They're great hitters. Mays great from both sides. Trout great from both sides. Mantle's still great from both sides. Even if you play in a smaller park like Shipping, now nothing's dropping at all either there. Now the other card that can be in your outfield is Juan Soto. And Juan Soto, obviously, probably the best hitter in the game. You want to stick him out in left field and hide him out in left field, it's not going to be a problem. The thing is, he only has 53 speed. You can up that a little bit if you get him prestiged, but his hitting is absolutely ridiculous. He's a walking home run. So Juan Soto he's got to be possibly in the mix. If you don't have Mays, maybe it's a good one for you to go after, to put out there, but he's really, really good. The other outfielders, let's see if we go to, I believe, center field here. The other outfielder, obviously, that you could have out there would be King Griffey Jr. Griffey, for me, it's just the reason I like to play Mays over Griffey is, for some reason, I just hit better with Mays, and also the left on left with Griffey is actually kind of tough. He does have 99, 109. And I don't know. I don't hit particularly that well with him. Some people, I feel like they hit really well with him. So those are pretty much your 5 outfielders at this point. The other outfielder, I don't have the card, but we can go look him up in the market. The other outfielder you might want to run out of all the outfielders, as we go to center field real quick here. The other outfielder you might want to run is Cobb, just because he kind of hits over... he kind of hits over his stats a little bit with the 125, the 90 power on both sides, which gets me into something I was thinking about yesterday. So I'm running Showdown yesterday on stream, the 11th inning program Showdown, to finish it off. And one of the cards that they gave me was Eric Thames, who has like 55 contact and 80 power. And doesn't it feel like Thames with 80 power has like more power than this Cobb? So that 90 power is pretty deceptive. It's actually a lot of power. Has a pretty good swing, 114 vision, so a big swing timing window. Obviously, if you get him to prestige, he could get up to a diamond fielding. Doesn't have that great of an arm, but super, super fast. Super fast with his speed. So I think that's the other outfielder that I think you should consider to put in your outfield at this point in the game. Now let's talk about third baseman. And at third base, I think the best third baseman is Corey Seeger, just because he goes 118, 120, 113, 122, 103 vision, has 85 fielding with 90 reaction. So it's pretty solid. Still has 80 fielding and 85 reaction. The arm strength, I feel like he kind of plays above the arm strength just because I don't know what it is, but I feel like they have like they kind of like throw it harder than their arm strength sometimes. If like the players are really running down the line, it's like they have more giddy up to their throws. Like they'll put like some extra cheese on the throw if the runner is going to be close at first base. So I feel like he can play above that arm strength over there at third base. And then one of the best swings, really, really good at hitting in this game is Corey Seeger. This is a great, great card to have at third base. Now, the other third baseman, what I'm going to do is I'm going to platoon Corey Seager with Manny Machado. When I face a lefty, Manny Machado's coming in for Corey Seager. I know Seager has better stats versus lefties, but I'd rather have the right on left matchup. Plus, we're going to get a ton of defense. This is a card that I need to get prestiged because he'd go up to 123 and 119 versus lefties, which is pretty ridiculous. If you're having trouble with Machado's swing, the one thing I'm kind of trying to focus on is his front foot. He kind of has almost like a Luke Voigt-esque type of like leg kick with his front foot. So that's kind of what I would focus on in regards to that to hit better with him. Let's talk about shortstop. To me, this is still the best shortstop in the game. Fernando Tatis Jr., 122, 93, 125, 114 at the prestige level, 87 speed. There's a big difference in this game between like 81 and 87 speed, even like 84. 87 speed is legit. I mean, that's like triple worthy. You can steal bases with 87 speed. There's a big difference also between like 87 speed and like 94 to 99 speed. I mean, 99 speed and like 95 speed, they really, really close the gap on like a triple. But I think this is still such a solid card. 93 fielding with 98 arm, 91 reaction. He's just a solid card. It's got to be somewhere for you in your rotation of cards. You know, either it's second or third. To me, he's still really, really good. I've seen a lot of the comp players. They've been using Lindor a lot more. You know, he's got 99 fielding, 92 reaction, 81 arm, 73 speed, does have the switch hitting. I'm just not really wild about the 85-105. I don't really like having the contact down at 85. Makes the PCI pretty small. I don't know. He's pretty good. You know, you can go through and do this collection. I kind of recommend that you don't do the collection unless you really just have like a ton of stubs and you really want to do it. I think he's good, but I think Tatis is better. That's just my personal opinion. That's just another card you can run. You always run Wagner over there. You know, Wagner, it's pretty solid across the board. Obviously, Prestige, he'd be at 98 speed, even better fielding. Gets a little bit more power, has a great swing. So he's another really, really good one. Can play all over the place. But I still think Tatis is the best. This Tim Anderson's always interesting, too, if you need a bench card. 125 versus left on both sides, so he can be a pinch hitter. Plus, he has 84 speed, so if you need a pinch, he can pretty much, you know, he can pinch hit against lefties, and he also has 84 speed if you need a pinch runner, so he's kind of got that dual skill set for the bench. So I do like that Tim Anderson a lot. Now, this is a balanced cap. He has about 117 power versus left, or he has like about 117, 118 power versus right, 100 contact versus right. He's got diamond fielding, a 77 arm, and he has 84 speed once all the equipment gets tallied in there. So he's not as good against lefties, but he's pretty dang good against righties, and he has diamond defense. What I'm doing with him now is if we face a lefty, I just bring in Mondesi because now it's 125 both sides, good enough fielding, 80 or 99 speed. So if we see a lefty, if we see Kershaw, Chris Sale, James Paxton, if we see Al Leiter, off rip, we're just going to Mondesi the same way we'd go with Machado for Seeger. And we're going to really, really utilize our bench a lot more. We have two hitters, and I'm not even totally sold on Perez yet. We'll get to him, but that's what I'm going to do. Just it takes a little while to grind out this cap. Maybe go through some of the conquest maps. Go through some of the conquest maps for Team Affinity if you need to do that. That's a good place to get the inning started. Getting the hits does take a really long time, though, so I almost kind of recommend, hopping on just online as well and just playing some games with them and kind of just going through it to get it up to the balance. I did the balance, the speed, and the contact. I think the balance is pretty much the best, and then running this platoon with Mondesi would be your best bet. Now, best first baseman in the game is Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth is the best first baseman in the game. 125, 120, he's ridiculous. 121, 112, still ridiculous. Great swing. Plays over his head defensively at first base. I don't know what it is, but he plays great defense at first, in my opinion. Says 60 speed as well. So The 60 speed also is probably a bit too high when you consider he's faster than a lot of cards. If you do some comparison, it's kind of crazy how Babe has 60 speed. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but we'll take it. And then obviously you just platoon him with the Frank Thomas. I got my Frank Thomas prestiged. 125 on both sides, 101, great swing, up to 60 fielding, 51 speed. Just really makes it a nightmare if you have a left-handed pitcher versus team right now, because now we got Machado with tons of power in there. We got, Modesty with 125. We got Thomas with 125. Starts to become a real problem. Our outfielders, it really doesn't matter on either side how they hit. And I think it's going to be a real problem. Now, we're going to get Cody Bellinger, in the game real soon. Cody B is coming to the game real soon in events. It's going to come, or you're going to need 20 wins in events on Wednesday, the 25th of November. That's when the event starts. So we're going to go over to the web browser real quick, and we're going to take a look at his stats. We're on Jake Arrieta right now. We're going to talk about him as well because he's going to be in it as well. So let me go ahead and look up Cody Bellinger real quick here, and I'll read you the stats that are going to be on this finest card. So he has 116 contact versus right. He has 98 contact versus left, 119 power versus right, 125 power versus left, 112 vision, perfect discipline for the check swings. He has an excellent swing. In the field, 88 fielding, 93 arm strength, 97 arm act, 85 reaction. So he's going to bring some solid fielding to first base. You could play this card in right field, no problem. You can play this card in right field. Has that reverse split 125 power, has the 83 speed. So he's faster than both Babe and he's faster than Frank Thomas. You could really make the case that you could just put him at first base and you don't have to platoon him at all because of how strong he is versus righties. He's still strong versus lefties, very strong with 125. Has 98 contact versus left also. So it's going to be a really, really strong card. A lot of people are going to be going after it. He has to be in the mix. I will probably play him over Frank and Babe Ruth. It's just really tough because the thing is, I really like both Frank and Babe Ruth a lot. So it's going to be tough to figure that out. I want to talk about another second baseman card here. Some second baseman cards here because we kind of went somewhat fast through this. I think Rogers Hornsby is one of the best hitting cards in the game. If you want to put up with his defense, I mean, a lot of the comp players are still going to use Hornsby because he's so good at hitting, and they're going to put up with the defense because they're hitting, if they're getting 10 runs a game, 15 runs a game, and they're hitting so well, they're not really too concerned defensively, with that kind of stuff. But if you're not getting tons of runs, obviously Hornsby, he's going to help you out offensively, but you might need to save some runs on defense. So I think Hornsby just is he's really, really good. Really, really good. Made me a lot of money in the CCL league. But the thing is, his defense is just not that good. When it's hit at him, he's fine. But his range side to side with only 64 reaction and 70 fielding, it's just not that good. 70 speed, but it's still one of the best hitting cards in the game. There's no problem with him being at second base whatsoever. I've seen some more people running this DJ LeMahieu as well. I mean, he's got good hitting stats. He's pretty tall, not too bad on defense. He's not too bad. I mean, I think the Sandberg's always good too to run at second base. The Prestige Sandberg, he's got decent pop from both sides. He's got the contact. He's got the fielding, like that 95 fielding, super elite, 83 speed. Love using Craig as well, Prestige Craig, great speed, good defense, solid enough defense. Plays above his hitting numbers power-wise. He's a great contact hitter. He's got a great swing. I think he has a much better swing than like Ryan Sandberg, for example. Don't really see Jackie too much, but he's got good speed, good contact. There's not a lot of power. Cano has a ton of power. We used to see this card all the time. This used to be like the best second baseman for a while. So he's got some good power. And then you always got to look at the secondaries, for people, even like J-Ram can get in there. J-Ram's a very solid card. If you really hit well with his swing, he's really, really solid because you get a switch hitting with 125 and decent enough defense. Obviously, Wagner can play over there as well, kind of in the Biggio type of mold, except for a little bit more power, honestly, and more speed. So he might even be better than Biggio. to be honest with you. I really want to talk about Mookie Betts too. This is another trendy card that people are playing at second base. Excellent defense, 72 speed, 121, 125 versus righties. So he's just a beast versus righties as well. And the 92-81 is why you really want to get him up to prestige. You know, get that. His arm strength on a double play would be absolutely ridiculous. And also, like, his speed getting up to 75 would be nice. Got a pretty good swing. Usually when I pitch against him, I just try to jam him on the inside. That seems to be pretty much my strategy in that situation when I'm facing Betts, but that's another good one. And then also, you know, we talk about Lindor. Lindor could be a good second baseman as well, but you probably want to play him at shortstop just to get the 99 fielding. The one other second baseman that I'd like to try real bad is I'd like to try this card, just like impossible to obtain. We're trying to talk to the devs about possibly they need to do something so we can get some of these cards, because not being able to get the Almar card, you know, it's like I want to get this card and try them, and there's no real way. It costs 1 million stubs. No one's selling them. You know, it's like impossible to get this card. I have 1 million stubs. I can't get them. So I don't know if they should come out with like a BR pack that costs a ton or what, but I'd love to get this card. And speaking of this card, the other card I'd love to get, and that should be in the third base conversation as well, is this Chipper Jones. You know, everyone wants this Chipper Jones. I know he only has 116, 105, 93, but he's going to play way, way above those numbers just because his swing is so legit. So he's really, really good as well. And just like impossible to get this card right now. So hopefully they figure out something so we can pick up that card. It just would be real nice to be able to at least be able to try that. J-Ram also is in the conversation over at third base. Like if you weren't going with Machado in the platoon, you could go with J-Ram over there. You know, to platoon him there. But I like the Seeger. I think the Seeger and Machado is going to work nice. And I might stick J-Ram, but I just can't hit with Machado for whatever reason. I would put him over there. All right, so let's talk about the catcher position. Now, for me, I'm using Salvador Perez only because I'm really a Royals fan. But what really intrigued me about Salvador Perez is I was playing in Yale and Sam Adams' tournament over the weekend, and Sam was really, really vocal about how much he liked this card. Said it was like one of the best cards in the game. And I do like Perez's swing quite a bit. And so I was intrigued just to try him out. Again, he adds with that 125 power. If they have a lefty, we just have so many cards with 125 power against a lefty that it's going to make it real difficult for a lefty. He has above average defense. You know, he's got gold defense. I don't know if you need a ton of defense at catcher. We'll get into that in a little bit. But if you're not throwing it too far outside the zone, you're not going to need to block too much. I mean, 82 arm strength is probably decent enough. I don't like the 88 contact. This is a card that you're going to want to have prestige if you're going to want to run it. You get more power versus righties, so you become super elite versus righties, really, with 125, 115. And then he gets that 91 contact boost, gets out of the 80s into the 90s with his contact. The 32 speed is just real slow. I mean, even at 35, that's really, really slow. That's like double plays, not a lot of doubles on smashed hits. He really seems to like this card, though, so I'm kind of intrigued. I'm kind of running it because, you know, I am a Royals fan. You can see I got the Chiefs gear on right now and stuff like that, so I'm obviously a big Kansas City sports fan. So I'm going to try him out, but I got to be perfectly honest with you. I think Jimmy Fox is better. I just think he's better. So that's really who I would recommend. 124, 125, 116, 113, 90 vision. That fielding, I need to get him prestige so I can get him up to silver fielding. The 75 arm goes up to a 78. The speed goes up to a 68, which is super fast. Just trust this card a lot at the plate. Like 124, 125, 116, 113. He's going to make contact and put the ball in play. I love his swing. It's sometimes even easier to hit with the swing like right on right for some reason, just kind of the way that it is. Very, very trustworthy card at the plate. And then if you're pitching, just don't try to throw it too far out of the zone all the time. Don't try to bury it in the dirt. You know, play to his strengths. Kind of miss. If you're gonna miss like 5 or 6 inches inside, outside, above and below. Don't miss, 2 feet below the zone and expect them to block anything. I don't think you really expect like any of the catchers to block everything like that. Maybe Pudge, but again, I don't know if you need that much defense. So I like Jimmy Fox quite a bit. If we go over to the catchers, take a look at the catchers. as well that we have. I've used Piazza for years in the past. He's got great hitting stats at 113, 125, 105, 125, 100 vision. I just am not the biggest fan of his swing. It's a little bit clunky for me. His defense obviously isn't spectacular. He only has 40 speed, so I'm not like super high on this card either, to be honest with you. But I think this card would be intriguing. Like, I never see anybody running Piazza. Like, I've played tons and tons of ranked seasons. Nobody's running this card. Everyone runs Fox on the comp scene or that Perez. They're not running this card, but it's a solid card. It's obviously very, very expensive. I never really see this card either. I never see the Pudge card either. I just don't know if you need that much defense behind the plate. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I don't know if you need that. I mean, if you could get the contact and power up with the Prestige, he'd be pretty decent. It has the speed. I really am such a big fan of Pudge IRL, but some of the cards that I'm a fan of in real life, they just don't translate as well to Diamond Dynasty due to like lack of power or lack of speed or like overkill on the the defense is great. No one's gonna run on you, but what if no one runs on you all game or they only run on you one time? Like, it's something that feels like it'd be awesome, but I don't know if in practice it's really as important as having like a good defensive shortstop or something like that. So, take with it what you want. I do think Pudge is pretty good. I just don't think I'd rather have that like amazing hitter in Fox over like the amazing fielding in Rodriguez. Rodriguez's swing is okay. Seeing more people run this Real Muto card, 85, 125, 112, 91, 81 vision, good speed, good arm. I don't really, he's got good power versus right. His contact's pretty low versus right. Some people really, really like his swing, so maybe give him a shot if you haven't yet. Let's see, is there anyone else I want to talk about? Bench is obviously way too expensive, but I don't know. He doesn't have that really that good of a swing. So let's see, is there like, this is a 125 Arnaud or Nod. I think I said that wrong. I think it's Arnaud. So, I mean, that's 125 both sides. I don't really particularly like his swing, but that's probably another one to consider. Posada is always one to consider as well, just because he's got a great swing. So he's a switch hitter. I think he's pretty good. But I think, you're going to want to go with Fox or probably Perez. Those are probably your two options of who you're going to want to roll with at catcher. Another player that we should probably talk about too, that I never seem to see anybody using this card either. And I don't think he'd really be better than what I have for my platoon. But Pujols at third base would be interesting. He's got a Bo Bichette type of swing, Dwight Evans type of swing. So I don't really see anybody running this card, to be honest with you, but maybe something to consider. Pretty expensive, not a lot of arm strength. I think you get a lot more value out of just using the free Corey Seager pretty much, and I think you get a lot more value out of using the Machado than going for Albert Pujols. Probably Pujols is going to be more of a card that like teams that, they're, big time Cardinal fans, stuff like that. I think that's more where you're going to see people running Pujols and rather like the super comp, no biases to any teams type of stuff. I also really like, speaking of third baseman, I think he's a third baseman. Let's see, let's see. I'm just gonna go ahead and go out to all of it. I like Mark Canha a lot too. I think this is a really, really, let's see if I can search here. Player card filters back. Go to MLB cards. How do I buy, sell options? Let's see. There we go. There's the search. Sorry about that. Now, I really like this card as well. Use it a little bit in the CCL. Total budget card, but he's got great hitting, a great swing. So he's got great hitting, a great swing. Pretty good defense over at third base. They have him in center field for his primary. Do not play him in center field. Play him at third. I think this is a really nice card. He's got like night player, dead red, and breaking ball hitter with a really good swing, and he's got really good hitting stats. Low key, one of the best cards in the game. Obviously, he doesn't have a ton of speed or anything, but he's real solid if you need him. So let's talk about the pitching, because the pitching, I think that's one of the top questions I get is, what are the top 5 pitchers that you're running pretty much every single stream that I have? And I want to know it too when I watch other people's stream. Also, I think we all want to know. The question is, what are the starting pitchers that you're using? What are the 5 best starting pitchers? And it's really, really difficult to find So in this order, all right, I think I have my favorite top 5. I guess it's really, really tough. We're going to talk about all of them. Prestige Oro is probably the best card in the game, pitching wise, best starting pitcher. Doesn't have really the per 9s, but the sinker, the cutter, the changeup, the motion, just everything about him, the stamina. I think he's probably still the best. And you think about it, he's got really, really low per 9s. And we're going to talk about that Jake Arrieta card in a second too. This to me is the most underrated starting pitcher in the entire game. Probably my second favorite. The only problem with Corbin Burnes is he just doesn't have the stamina. He's got 105, 110 with a sinker that goes like 97 and 98 at times. He's got a cutter, a slider, a changeup, and a curveball. He's got an excellent motion. He literally has every single thing that you want except for the stamina. So I think he's really, really good. Definitely pick him up. He's not too expensive either. He's only $23,000 to $17,000, so he's not expensive either. I think he's my second best starting pitcher. Now, I really like Chris Sale a lot. I mean, my advanced stats with him, 16-4 for me online is really, really good. 18 to 21 or 186 to 21 strikeout to walk ratio. He just has really, really good control. This under 5 ERA in Diamond Dynasty is pretty ridiculous also. He has really, really good control. You mix the four seam, the slider, and the circle change, and you stay out of the middle all game. He's kind of got a deceptive motion. He's really, really good for me. He's extremely, extremely expensive now. Almost impossible to get if you don't already have him because it's 1 million stubs. So it's still, you can still buy him. He's going to go up to 1 million sooner rather than later too, where he's going to be more difficult to get. But I think he's really, really good. He pitches the best for me. I almost always win when I pitch with him. Now, I really like Clayton Kershaw as well. It's the very same thing as Chris Sale. It's all about just locating pitches with him. The four-seam, slider, 12-6, changeup, and sinker. You might not feel the same way when you use them. I'm 3-0 with them online, but again, you can see the 63 to 10. Only a 3.49 ERA. This isn't even the prestige version yet. But I'm really, really liking the Clayton Kershaw card. I've used him for years. He's been a dominant pitcher for me since MLB The Show 16. So I've used his motion, him pitching for years. I think I might have changed up his motion a little bit, but still, he's just super, super accurate. So I really value accuracy for myself. You always have to try out pitchers yourself, see how you pitch with them, see if you feel the flow with them. But staying out of the middle, staying on the edges is super, super important in this game. So you don't just get blasted. But it's not something where you really look at this card and think like, oh, he's just going to blow you away. It's really like kind of a thinking man's card where I'm just going to paint the edges. I'm going to mix the pitches. I'm going to change speeds. I'm going to change eye levels, all that kind of stuff. That's how I like to use Kershaw. And then this card is kind of the opposite. I do have DeGrom still in the 5th spot just because he does throw super, super gas and he has good per 9s. And that's kind of the thing with a lot of these new pitching cards that we have is they have a ton of gas. Or what I meant to say is they have really good per 9s, like elite per 9s, like reliever per 9s. And that's kind of where a lot of the new cards are showing their value because it's actually, I mean, you got really good per 9s. That PCI, it gets smaller. And when the PCI gets smaller like that, it's so much harder to hit off their stuff gets so much better because they're so much harder to square up. Still have DeGrom up there because of 110, 125. He's got the outlier. He's got all the pitches. I haven't pitched as well with him as I would like. I pitched a little bit lower on the, I'm 4-4 with him at 6 ERA, so he's one above where I'd like to be. 63 strikeouts, 14 walks. He's done pretty good. He's had some good games, 5 quality starts, but at times if they can catch up to the fastball, it's a little bit more difficult. If they can't catch up to the fastball, he's going to be great. He actually can hit a little bit too. I have him in the 5th spot, but there's definitely a lot of different pitchers that you can choose. Seaver can be effective. He can be effective. You get him from the Babe Ruth route. Maddox, I think Maddox is a little bit outdated. Never, ever see Maddox being used by anybody anymore. I have him at Prestige. I just never, ever see anybody running him. I think it's really because he just doesn't. He's got the sinker and some good pitches, but he just doesn't really throw that hard in particular. He doesn't really have that great of per 9s. So it's not like a card when somebody has them, like you're like, oh no. Now this Lamet, you can get them pretty dang easily. Only 9,000. Very good card though. Very good card. Look at the per 9. The 124, 116 is pretty dang good. and that fastball goes over 100. He's got a dominant slider as well. He has a changeup and a curveball. His motion is not bad, but it's not good. I put it somewhere in the middle. 99 velo, 99 break. I mean, if you're on a budget, this card needs to be probably in your rotation. Yu Darvish, a lot of people like this Yu Darvish card. That cutter has like really good control. Throws out of the stretch. Decent per nines, but not like super elite like we see with like Lamet, or we'll see in this card in Trevor Bauer. Like 124, 117 makes Bauer very viable. It's tough to get your PCI on the ball. Decent enough control. I like his motion a lot too. Four seam cutter, slider, knuckle, and sinker. The problem is that he doesn't have a changeup, and neither does this card either. So that 12-6 or the knuckle curve, it just doesn't. It's like got too much break. It doesn't look like a fastball when you tunnel it. So the changeup's so much more effective for that, because all you're trying to do with a changeup is you're really just trying to like hit the zone, and you're trying to just have them out in front of it. You know, like you're not worried about. You need to locate in the zone, have them like out on their front foot way in front of it so they don't hit it, or they're just staring at it for strike three. You can bury it a little bit. You know, you're going to have to bury those curveballs a little bit more. It'll still work, but it's just easier to read the curveball quicker. Garrett Cole, I would just avoid. He just doesn't have the outlier that you need. Pretty easy to pick up Garrett Cole. Shane Bieber has the per nines. He'd probably be pretty decent, but I would go with Bauer over Bieber. Really haven't used Bob this year. Never really see Bob. Never see Bieber or Cole either. It's really a lot of Lamet, Darvish, and Bauer that I've been seeing a lot. See a little bit of Seeger, excuse me. Really haven't seen Bob too much either. He's probably not too bad. If you like his motion, he's probably not bad at all, because he's got good pitches. Four-seam slider, sinker, curveball, changeup. It's just his motion is a little old-timey and funky, and it's not slow, but it's just, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of his motion. R.I.P. Bob, one of the greatest of all time, one of my favorite players of all time too. Cookie Carrasco kind of got some lower per nines, decent pitch mix. Never really see him. Doesn't throw. I wish if he had like some higher per nines, probably be a little bit better, but he's not terrible. And Nate Pearson again, he's kind of like a DeGrom clone. I think you really need this card up at I like his motion better than DeGrom's by a long stretch, but I need to get this card to prestige to really be dominant with it. Again, when they just are way behind the fastball, he's really fun to pitch with. But, you know, he's 6-2, but his ERA, he got smashed in one game that I played, but he does have a 32-3. Might have to put him back in there for DeGrom at some point, but his per nines, you know, they need a little bit of work with the prestige. This is a card I'd have to get prestige, and he's a long prestige too. It takes a while to get him prestige. Outlier always viable. Just moving down the tier list at this point in time, but not bad. Nolan Ryan can be a problem, honestly, to face sometimes. I've had some trouble against him, but most good players are going to knock him out of the game, because they're going to take pitches, and then it's going to be hard to locate with only that 53-75. So I would advise him against him, but he's going to have a start here and there where he's going to be doing pretty well. I've only used him one time, but he's not as bad as I think you might think. Kluber, obviously, still solid. I mean, it's Corey Kluber. He's still really solid. Still hard to hit. I think he's a little bit easier to hit now, but he's still a good pitcher. You're not like happy to see someone using Kluber against you. Bueller really got good per nines. Again, falls down a trap by having the knuckle curve instead of changeup. This card had a changeup would be like a lot better. Paxton, especially Prestige Paxton. I don't have Prestige Paxton. Some people like to run that Paxton out there at times. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that I really don't see most of these mid-tier like Castillo or Gonzalez. I haven't seen too much of them yet. Per nines are probably just a little bit too low. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone I want to talk about. I mean, Wainwright would be really good, but the H per nine, K per nine is just like way too low at this point in time. Charlie Morton might not be too bad, honestly. Per nines are, you just can see there's like a huge difference. No, Lodolo was always good. I think this card, if it ever had a per nines and good stats, would be really good too in a way, because he's got a real deceptive delivery. His delivery is kind of glitched out. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that I face from time to time that I really am like, oh no, I don't want to face them. I think kind of hitting the point where most of these cards I'm all right with facing. Like, not really looking forward to facing some of these guys. Let's just go to the bullpen to try to keep it concise. And if you have any more starting pitching questions, just go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. So I like Gagne a lot just because of the 125s on both sides. He's really difficult. He's really accurate for me to pitch with. I mean, I just throw his card. Vulcan, good changeup, good splitter, good slider. This card can actually throw the slider too. Won't run you too much at the bank. Real solid card. Only 9,000, 5,000. Great card to use if you're trying to do the Babe Ruth stuff. Really good card to use for the set because the CPU doesn't hit that well with the 125s. Prestige Mariano Rivera, beast. It's a 37 stamina. Best, like, ideal pitch mix. Cutter goes crazy. Sinker, slider, changeup. Four seam goes 100. He's awesome. Crochet, still really, really good. Let's see how much he goes for. Budget, you can pick him up pretty easily. Only about 30K, 18 by now. 120, 113. Throws absolute gas. This is a pretty good motion. Kenley, 121, 125. Basically, he's just another, he's basically another Mariano Rivera. It's basically what Kenley Jansen is. Pretty much the exact same setup as Rivera. Aroldis Chapman, it's crazy. I got a really good record with him, 15-7, 125 both sides. The control isn't fantastic, but his stuff is just, it's elite. He's got four seam. He's got a ladder on the four seam and the sinker. He's got the slider and the changeup. Should be in your bullpen. He's really, really good. Wagner, this card's gonna be like impossible to get. So we'll give you some other stuff to go after too, but he's in that impossible to get range. But obviously, he's really good at 120, 122, 125. And then Goose Gosh has tons of stamina. Great H for 9, K per 9. Great velocity and break. He has outlier on his main fastball. So he's really, really difficult to hit as well. So that's who I'm rolling with my bullpen. Like Andrew Miller, I do like this card. That slider can start all the way on the outside part of the strike zone to a right-handed batter and then go all the way to the inside, all the way across the plate. That slider's ridiculous that he has. Really, really good card. Nick Anderson, haven't used him as much lately. I don't think he's too bad, but again, another pitcher that gets really hurt by the curveball instead of the changeup, to be honest with you. Brad Hand, not a bad lefty to go after if you need a lefty. Drew Pomeranz, I really don't like this card. And when I face him, I have confidence. He has 125, but I just don't like the other stuff that he has. See this Diego? I like to use Diego a lot. I like to use his silver card in the show CCL, but I've been hitting this card really hard when I've faced him. Raleigh's still effective. Just the sinker, the slider, really glitchy release too, and got the forkball. Still a really good card. 38 stamina on that card as well. So Raleigh's always good. Neshek's kind of tough to hit also, just because the speed differential between that sinker and the changeup is pretty ridiculous. So pretty good one. Only had to put 5 finest cards in to get him. I think he's probably more worth it than Lindor, but that's just my personal opinion on that. Wade Davis, really, I don't know. I liked his card more last year than this year for some reason. Again, knuckle curve, no changeup. I think that's probably why. T-Hoff's not bad either. I never see anybody running T-Hoff anymore, but he's really not that bad because that circle changeup is always so hard to. It's so hard to square up late in the game for home runs when you need to come back. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that I'm missing that I want to talk about for relief pitchers. I guess we should go into the market because there is like a. See, there's like Dennis Eckersley and Hader and stuff like that we should probably talk about. And then we'll close out this video. So as far as these go, I'd probably pass on this Kirby Yates. I don't know why he's that expensive, to be honest with you. Liam Hendricks, I'm not too incredibly fond of personally. Hader, so he's kind of the new card on the block. I'm a little bit worried about that control. I love the per 9s. He doesn't have the top end fastball. He's got a great motion. He's got great per 9s. He's got a good pitch set with the four seam, the slider, and the changeup. Those will mix nicely. I'm a little bit worried about the control, but maybe his motion can overcome the control. Not too bad. I'd put him in like the same probably territory as like Brad Hand, to be honest with you. That kind of like, I don't know, like him versus Miller is really close. He's probably more in like Miller's territory as far as that goes. So we got the new Eckersley. This X probably pretty damn good. I'm gonna tell you that right now, just because he's got really good control and he's deceptive. That's probably a pretty good Eckersley card. This Hinkie card can be kind of hit or miss. Some people sometimes don't like to pitch with them, but I also don't like to go against him. Rob Dibble's obviously still really good. 108, 125. A little bit tough for me to control, but you never want to face him because he's such a pain to hit against, because it's just the four seam, the cutter, and the slider have all different timings, and it's really, really tough to hit off that card. Still a super, super good card. Where is maybe they got him in relief pitchers, probably do. Yeah, so they got Devin Williams here. This is another super popular card. I don't like to personally use him, but he's a good card. He's a good card. Lots of people like to use him. So check out this card as well if you're looking for another relief pitcher. All right, so the one starting pitcher we still need to talk about also before we close out the video is we need to talk about this Jake Arrieta card. Let's see, Jake Arrieta. We're going to go back over to the web browser. So this is his card at MLB The Show 19. 98 stamina, 97, 82, 79, 83, 104, 87, or 85, 97, 97. But the thing is, his card is going to be a 99 overall. So it's going to be like the best version of Arrieta. Arrieta is actually really tough to hit off of, in my opinion. He has a hard sinker, a slider, a 12-6, a four-seam fastball, and a changeup. And he's got a funky motion. He's going to be a good card that you're gonna want to go after in events. Interested to see what kind of stats they give on this card with his H per 9 and K per 9. Real interested. I mean, it's an MVP version of the card. It's going to be way better than this 93 hardware, in my opinion. Maybe it'll be the same, but I just feel like he's gonna get a little bit of juice. I just feel like this card is gonna get, I guess it is, let's say 13 or 15. I can't really even tell. I honestly, let's see if it says something in the let's see. I don't know if it's 15 or 13. It's probably, let's see. I'm gonna search Jake Arrieta Cy Young. So it's a Cy Young, not MVP. When did he get his Cy Young award? Did he get it in 2013? Let's see if we can find this. It's on the Phillies, 2016, 2015. It was 2015, so it is his 2015 card. He's still on the Orioles in 2013. So I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious to find out if it's going to be somewhat comparable to, is it going to be like more like this one, or is it going to be better? I feel like it's going to be better than this one, because this one's only a 93, and that 93 to 99 is a significant jump. So I do feel like he's going to have, if he has some crazy H per 9 and K per 9, he's going to take that fifth spot from DeGrom. He's going to get into the top 5. So this event is going to be very important to go after the Bellinger. It's going to be very important to go after the Jake Arrieta. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on it. I'm going to link my gameplay video. I did just get a new mic. We're going to be doing more gameplay videos on the channel as well. I'm thinking I've got to the point. Let me know if I sounded good on the mic in this one. Spend some more money on this mic. I'm trying to get it so my mic sounds really, really good, so that when I record, it's not cutting out. Even if I move around, it just sounds really good. Let me know down in the comment section below. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace out.